If you haven't guessed by some of my Instagram stories already, Jay and I are back in Iowa for a little bit, and the weather welcomed us back by being extra cold. And I'm not talking, ooh, I'm back from LA, it's kind of chilly. What is it, like 40 degrees here? I'm talking negative double digits, bitterly cold. It's the kind of cold that makes you really thankful that you have a warm place to sleep. We were sitting in the living room, warming up by the fireplace and watching some TV when one of our dogs looked out the window and started barking. We looked outside to see what she was barking at, and we noticed this tiny little calico kitten sitting there and letting out the saddest meow I have ever heard in my life. It was like, meow. It just broke my heart. We felt super bad for the kitten, especially knowing that it was supposed to get down to negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit that night. Not the wind chill, specifically the temperature. If we let this calico just kind of chill and nature take its course, that she probably wasn't gonna make it. So we bundled all up and we went outside to try and get her. We'd cooked up salmon for dinner that night, so I brought some of that outside and we were trying to lure her to us, but she wanted nothing to do with us. She was super skittish, super scared, hiding under cars, and eventually we got a little too close and she took off running. Keep in mind, like I said, it was negative 11 degrees out, which means if you are out in the cold for more than 10 minutes with any sort of unprotected skin, be it your nose or your fingers, anything like that, you're gonna get frostbite. So we'd go inside, take a couple minutes to warm up, then go back outside, and then at 9 minutes go back inside, and it was just a process. We did that for about an hour and a half, and then finally defeated, we decided that the cat was gone. And of course, after you lose a cat like that and you know that she's out there and she's sad and alone, you can't get that out of your head. You can't just go back to doing what you were doing. We're trying to sit here and watch TV, and all the while I'm thinking about this poor freezing cold cat and her little sad meow, and I could not function the rest of the night. So we came up with a new plan. We have an attached garage, and we decided that we were going to place salmon inside the garage so that she could come and get some shelter. This is not the cat we're talking about. This is a unit. This is the big bad boy Quasi. Hi, Bushka. I don't remember what I was saying. Okay, yes, the salmon. So we cracked the garage door and I laid out a little bit of salmon and I put a blanket out there in case she came back. Jay also had the idea to set up a security camera and put motion detection on it so that if she came into the garage, we'd know when to close the door. Another hour passes, it's about 10:45 at night, and the sensor hasn't gone off at all. So I'm starting to lose hope, and I decide that I just need to go to bed. I'd just fallen asleep, and all of a sudden, Jay starts shaking me, and he goes, Trisha, the cat's in there, the cat's in there. And we look at the camera, and sure enough, there she is. We closed the garage door, and we got her. I brought another blanket in the garage, and I sat down for a second to see if she'd come near me now that we were in a little bit of a quieter environment. And I had this sinking feeling in my stomach. Even the garage was way too cold right now. So that's when I came up with the idea to lure her into the house. I cracked open the garage door into the house, took the salmon and laid a piece of salmon and a cat treat. Then a piece of salmon and a cat treat. And I just let her make her way into the house. So another hour and a half later, she was finally in the house. She had followed my little cat treat trail to the bathroom where we'd set up a litter box and a blanket for her to spend the night. I also snapped a couple pictures of her so I could post her on the Lost and Found pet pages in my area on Facebook. The next day I went in to open the door to feed her and she hissed at me. She wouldn't take food out of my hand. She didn't want me anywhere near her. And I started to think, well, this is probably not anybody's cat. But she didn't seem full-on feral either. It's like she knew that humans were there and provided food, but she also wasn't quite sure of them. So I thought maybe she was a farm cat. I called around to some of the local vet clinics asking if there was a history of a farm cat being brought in that matched her description, and they all said no. This is not the first time that I've caught a farm cat or a stray feral cat like this, and unfortunately the last time I did it, no one would take the cat. I called vet clinics, I called the ARL, I called animal control, and all three of them said the same thing. Just let the cat go. So I knew when this little girl started hissing at me that I would try to call around and get the ARL to take her or another vet clinic, and I'd get the same answer, and this cat wouldn't make it in the cold weather that's out right now. So I decided I was gonna work with her. Now I know that we can't keep her because Jay's allergic to cats and we already have one cat, so we're already betting 1,000. But I also know that I can't call around to people saying, hey, do you want this cat that hates people? No? No takers? Okay, that's probably fair. So it's been about a week and a half and this cat, you wouldn't even recognize her. She is so sweet. She loves getting scratched behind the ear and she's very gentle when she's playing and I just love her so much. But again, we're not keeping her. About 5 days in, I decided that I would start letting her mingle with my animals. Not because I wanted them to get used to each other, but just to see if she liked other dogs or she got along with other cats. Those are things that I need to know so that I could tell her new owner, whoever they may be, that she's good with other animals. And it turns out she is very good with other animals, which is great for whoever adopts her. I also got her all of her kitty shots as a precaution because she was going to be around my animals, so just doing what a responsible pet owner would do. I did make a post on Facebook a couple days ago asking if anybody would be interested in taking her, and one of my friends responded. He said, this is perfect because I was just about to go to the ARL and get a pair of bonded cats, and I'll just take this cat instead. That'll be perfect. He sent me a picture of a brand new cat tree that he just got, and that sounded great. But also, it's really difficult to adopt out bonded cats, so I told him, you know what, just go to the ARL and get those bonded cats because they deserve a really good home and it's gonna be so much harder for them to get adopted out as a pair than it is for me to find this little calico a home. I wasn't doing it because I want her. I was not doing it because I want to keep her. I wasn't. In fact, I've been so good, I haven't even named her yet. I just call her Calico. Sometimes Callie for short, but rarely. We will adopt her out when I'm ready. When she's ready. We'll adopt her out when she's ready. We're not keeping her. Probably.